Welcome back to another reading and collecting of Clemson by me, Kidnar, the Tiger Knights, and Ty, the Tiger Supervisor. Today we are doing Chapter 11. It only took a few days for Alex to realize the rumors about the ship's were true. The boxes under his bed had brought to life what the woman had. The boxes under his bed had brought to life what the woman who had guided him to the ship had said to him. Some people say they're actually pirates. He immediately told himself that Will could simply be a collector, except he'd hoped to sell them. Then there was Anders, the people with him, and the way he'd looked at Alex. There had been hunger for violence in those eyes and viciousness. Trying to tell himself Anders was just one of those people his mother had told him about. Bad people, using this skill to help. You see, this is part of where, this is my quote unquote inexperience, like bad people using their skills to help people. That's a lot of people in one phrase, even if it's on two. So I'm going to change it to others. And that's gone to an editor. Like, this is not a comment on my editor. My editor is very good. But as with many things, people have a certain amount of energy that they can bring to something, even trying their best. And this is why it's good for us writers to edit as much as we can before we hand it to an editor. Because if they don't have to go through and clean up all the typos we leave there, they have way more energy to dedicate to the good stuff, to really improving your story. He tried to convince himself they were security. Merchant ship needed muscle to protect them from pirates. The universe was a scary place, his mother had said over and over when he was young. When he told her he would explore all of it. She taken hold of his shoulders, fixed her gaze on him, and shook her head. There are monsters out there, Alexander, with claws and scales, or pitch black skin and glowing eyes. Some look just like you and me. So you need to stay here, close to home, so we can protect you. As he'd grown older, Alex had realized his mother meant aliens, but unlike her, he didn't see them as monsters. He thought they were wonderful, so when the family moved to the area, he befriended them against his parents' wishes. Then came the day his father caught him in bed with the oldest of that family, both exploring their difference and their similarities as their bodies awakened to desire Alex had never felt before. Alex became the monster. His father kicked him out, and no one in the house defended him. Not his mother, brother, or sisters. They all called him monster. They all called him a monster. Not for Alex's grandparents, he might have believed it. Alex was willing to give Anders and his people the benefit of the doubt. They clearly were not nice people, but that didn't mean they were criminals. It was the weapons that forced him to accept what they really were. 2 nights after they left Delaron 4, Will had taken him to the room that Alex thought of as the lounge to relax. And while the young man had quickly vanished among the others, Alex had stayed at the periphery, unsure of himself. He'd found more lockers as well as crates stacked next to them, and one was partially opened. Curious, he lifted the top, then dropped it. It had been full of guns. He moved away, terrified someone had noticed him, but no one fell on him. There were 50 crates, far more than needed to protect the ship. Who needed so many weapons? And the answer had been clear. He'd known then that he hadn't believed the woman. He also knew that if they hadn't been in space, he would have run off the ship, grabbed the defender, and left. Right behind that thought was the realization that escaping the ship wouldn't have helped him with his, mission? Quest? This was the only ship he'd found going to Somalia, and station security had been looking for him. He had to be on this ship if he wanted to rescue Jack. So it was a pirate ship. It wasn't like he was part of the crew. They wouldn't force him to take part in anything, would they? He resolved to keep his head down and went back to his room. Sorry you got stuck doing this, Alex told Will again as he scrubbed the corridor's wall. I'm not. My idea. Will had found him in their room days before, saying the captain had ordered them to clean the ship. Alex said, What do you mean, your idea? I hate dirt. Captain wants you busy, so I told him you'll clean the ship. He grinned at Alex and pushed the cleaner back and forth on the floor. And this is better than listening to him, boy. First girlfriend story is boring, and he always tells it. You're better company. I am? Alex couldn't imagine how he could be interesting for someone who traveled the stars. Yeah, you've seen cities. I just see station. Some ports. Captain doesn't let many loose. He says we're going to cause trouble. Just station for us. Alex had a moment of surprise. It isn't like I've seen many of them. Just two. Where I grew up and back on Delaware 4 where I work. How was that? Alex shrugged. Where I grew up wasn't much of a city. Mostly farmland with houses there. Houses here and there. My dad worked for one of the transport. He didn't look up as steps came closer. The crew didn't care what they did. He walked right through their clean floor, leaving boot marks over it. The person stopped. Well. So that's what the captain's got you doing. Alex looked over his shoulder. Anders was leaning against the wall. Can't believe he hired a fucking maid. What do you want, Anders? Will didn't look up from the cleaner as he spoke. It bumped against the wall and he had to strain to control it. I want to know what that's doing on the ship. Captain said Crimson's good. Go ask him. Alex watched from one to the other, hoping that he could vanish. Can't your fat friend talk for himself? Yeah, but you ain't worth talking to, so I talk. Will was now pushing the cleaner forward on the edge of the wall, leaving a pale gray path. I ought to break your neck. Will sighed and stopped the cleaner. He turned and looked at Anders. Captain won't let you. Crossed his arm over his chest, but we try anyway. I get to kick your balls again. That was lucky kick, Anders growled. Alex shrugged. Maybe I got lucky a fifth time. The snarled man turned and stopped off. When Anders vanished around the corner, Alex turned to Will. You're saying you actually kicked him in the balls? Said I did. Thought you were joking. Will shook his head. Never joke about kicking balls. An hour later, they were done with the corridor. Will beamed as he looked at the pale gray floors and walls. Took off a glove and ran a finger along it. Nice. It had taken most of the morning to clean it from one intersection to the other. 500 feet, Alex thought. The grime had been coated so thick in places that he'd had to scrape the stuff off before the cleaning engine would work. No one cleaned this before. At the time, I was busy. Couldn't you be doing something else then? Nah. Captain set me to watch you. Keep you busy. Get a corridor, keeping you busy. I hate dirt, grumbled. Food time. The dining hall was only a quarter full. Each time Alex had come here with Will since being on the ship, it had been the same, which led him to think there were no set meal times. At least Will hadn't gone by any, and whenever they showed up, someone was there with food ready. And it wasn't slop, like in the adventure vids he'd watched as a kid. There was real food, various kind of steaks, vegetable, fruits, even dessert like cakes and cookies. Food was simple, but good. The food was laid out on shelves for them to pick, and Alex grabbed plates of meats for himself and Will. Putting them on the tray, he added vegetables and dessert. He quickly noticed his young friend didn't pay attention to the food. He only had eyes for Carolina, the cook. If the woman didn't know of Will's interest, she was blind. It was so bad. For the first meal Alex had, he saw Will put gravy on his cake and eat it. That's when he began picking the food for both. Alex looked over another clean hall. Will was on his knees, scrubbing a small stain. He had no idea how much of the ship they cleaned over the last 3 weeks. Still didn't know what their layout was. He'd only ventured out of their rooms alone a few times, and each time he'd gotten lost. The terminals located at each intersection didn't help. Instead of giving him a map, gibberish appeared. When Alex had finally found him, he'd explained the computer was crazy. Alex hadn't believed him, so he'd taken out his earpiece and connected to the terminal next to their room. What he'd found was a closed-off system, wailing incoherent. Wonder if it was only this system or the whole computer that was cut to pieces and compartmentalized. Alex had tried to help it, to give it back a semblance of sanity, but quickly realized that while he was capable of causing that kind of damage, fixing, healing a system cut off from the rest of itself was beyond him, and he didn't have much time to devote to it with cleaning the ship. Once that was done, he'd see about learning how to help. If he could contact some of his coworkers at Luminex without giving away his location, they might be able to help. Alex strained to control the cleaner as he tried to pull out of his grip. It buckled. It bucked, and he almost lost hold of it as it laughed. Alex strained to control the cleaner as it tried to pull out of his grip. It bucked, and he almost lost hold of it as it then lunged forward in the intersection, nearly running over the person crossing. Sorry, Alex said, pulling it back. He looked up and almost lost his grip on the cleaner again. Sorry, Captain. This thing has a mind of its own. In the 5 weeks since being on the ship, this was the first time running into the man. It had almost been literal. The captain looked down the hall, and Alex followed his gaze. Will was fighting with a stubborn passion for grime. Captain, he said without stopping. The man looked back the way he'd come, and gone backward. He nodded and continued his way. This concludes chapter 11. If you are enjoying this, please hit the bell. Sorry, let me rephrase that. If you're enjoying this, leave a like. Ugh, I should really prep all that stuff ahead of time. If you want to know when the next one's going to be, subscribe and hit the bell. Then again, what kind of fun would it be for the people who are here live? Because I do this live on Twitch every Tuesday, 8 a.m. to about 11 Eastern Time. If you want to read ahead of this, you can do that on my Patreon. You can also support me. Wait a minute, I'm on the wrong book. This is published. You can buy this book on all major e-retailer, and as well as the rest of the series. There's a link to that in the notes. If you want to support me to my Patreon, is also there. You can read other stories I've written. And if you want to watch me fumble my way through these live, I do that on Twitch, as I said. I also write my stories there. Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. till 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And with that, I shall wish you a good day.